Hello, Facebook. It's Reid and Halko from readaboutsex.com. And I am here with Lisa Grace.
Hello.
Hello, Lisa. So as you sign on, say where you're saying hi from. I'm up in the hills of Oakland right now, and we're in a hot tub. And not everybody knows who you are. Do you want to share with people who you are?
I'm Lisa Grace, and I work with people on shadow material through Tantra, through mindfulness and somatic exercises. Just releasing shame, giving people holding and witnessing and space to share about things that they probably have never been able to share about in their lives with unconditional love.
Thanks for doing that.
Hey.
And we're trying to keep things Facebook friendly. We're in a gorgeous hot tub overlooking the, I guess it's Oakland Hills? You know better than I do.
It is Oakland, technically.
Yeah. And there's like hawks flying around and all kinds of greatness. You and I had things we needed to chat about, and a hawk just landed in a tree. And then we played a little bit with energy. And so I'm like, ooh, we haven't done my Facebook Live today, so I asked Lisa if Lisa would be guest starring. And we're going to talk about a little bit about energy, sex, and the question was, how big is your energetic cock? And as we were getting ready to climb into the hot tub, you were saying that you are consistently surprised that like so many people have never really played energetically. So the idea of having energetic genitals, or an energetic cock, or
that
an
I can
energetic
say
yoni.
I like playing with my energetic cock,
Yeah.
and people say, "What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What is that?"
So what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is literally feeling my own cock that is full of energy and constructive of energy. It's basically a representation of all of my extraordinary masculine that lives inside me.
And you're and you and I so Lisa and I've done more playing, like tossing the frisbee around energy, than we've actually ever kind of had a conversation about how energy actually occurs for you.
Oh, Monique.
Hi, Monique. So what like when you say masculine for yourself, and energetic cock and things like that, like how does it occur for you? And I'm just kind of saying, like, I think it occurs differently for everybody. So talking about and learning how the experiences are for other people can be really helpful, because I think especially for people who haven't really played in the playground of energy sex, like it feels like there's only like 4 crayons when it comes to energy or sex, and then there's like a big box of 164 crayons out in the world.
Full spectrum.
So how does it feel? Like, how does it all occur to you?
How does it occur to me? Well, it's starting with the premise that consciousness is without gender. That we have all of what we consider to be masculine and feminine aspects and principles inside of every embodied person. And so it's being able to play with the fullness of human expression and try that penetrative energy out and try the receptive energy out, and not just be limited by physical human meat sack.
Yeah, and also just kind of like culturally limited, right? Like penetrative is supposed to be masculine, and receptive is supposed to be, air quotes, feminine. Because for me, I'm very much in my receptive masculine, and it doesn't necessarily occur to me like it's a gendered thing. It's more of I'm either throwing the frisbee or catching the frisbee or doing frisbee tricks. So for me, it doesn't occur as very, very gendered. But that's me.
I find it helpful to use gendered language because of the concept of polarities and how it's a common accepted polarity like night and day that creates a whole 24-hour period.
We've never talked about this because I'm a big polarity.
Yeah, right.
But that's me. Like
it's just a place to start from, and then once you get people on board who are very identified, like if I'm a cis-female person, and if I'm really identified with that, I probably don't give my masculine a lot of airtime. All of the qualities and principles that I would consider to be masculine, I would tend to avoid if I'm trying to look feminine.
Well, and especially if you haven't deconstructed stuff yet, right? Like, because for a lot of people, like, you know, for us sex geeks, like, we're deconstructing gender. We're deconstructing, like, physical sex and geeking out on the energetic and the etheric. Or just the idea of imagination and eroticism and fantasy and all these other things that we're doing. But somebody who hasn't deconstructed things yet, starting with how they identify is a great place to start. And then maybe deconstructing things is their jam. Maybe it's not. Like
it's exactly. It's unpacking. It's deconstructing. It's noticing the things that you pursue and the things that you avoid, so that it can become conscious, so that you can be a choice at what you bring in. Because if I'm spending a lot of time avoiding what I consider to be masculine, then I'm cutting that part of myself off. And not being able to invite all that juice into my being.
And how did this all start for you? Like, what was your, like, how did you get into this?
I went on a tantric retreat in South Africa with ISTA people, and it was very much about playing. We were all moving between our masculine and feminine all week.
Nice. Cool.
And yeah, it was a pretty intense kettle, and it changed my life. And it came back with just feeling the joy in my being of having the permission to express that much of myself. And it also just comes in handy to be able to call upon my masculine and call upon my feminine. And then, of course, like you're saying, that it starts all blending together and blurring. And it's just a place to start. And
I'm not trying to make anybody wrong. Obviously, if something works for you, work it. Like I just like especially in the having hung out in the Tantra world a lot, and especially with there being a lot of unexamined male privilege in the Tantra world, and not a lot of geeking out and deconstructing consent culture and rape culture, and how, you know, sexism kind of can exist in guru models and I mean, just so many things for me that were challenging in the Tantra world, because as a geek, I wanted to like talk about all this stuff. And I found people in that community, not everybody, but people who were not interested in starting to break down subtle power dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, in Tantra, and you do pujas that I know, like Monique and Alex are great at doing events that are non-gender binary. But a lot of tantric events like pujas will break things down in gender balance, and that drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, but again, like I'll play devil's advocate. Like if you're gonna be working with people who haven't started that journey of deconstructing it yet, then working with binaries can be useful to get people acclimated, to then give them the literacy to start deconstructing something, right? Because there is such a thing as too much, too hard, too fast.
Well, you have to meet someone where they're at.
Yeah.
And so starting with that common language.
Got it.
And then unpacking it.
Cool. This is fun, because this is the first time I've ever actually talked about stuff. So it's like neat nerd brain sex. So where can people find you? Where can they find you?
They can find me at tantricshadowcoaching.com.
Tantricshadowcoaching.com. And then what? And they can find out like what you're up to and what they can hire you for and geek out with you all that. Okay.
Yes, please drop me a line if you have any questions that gets into the geekery of human expression and sexuality, shame, any of it.
And thank you. We'll check comments when we get out of the hot tub. And thank you for allowing us to do a little Facebook Live from this beautiful location. And up in that tree was where the hawk landed. And
vultures.
We're gonna keep it. It's a vulture?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I see 5 of them.
Oh, I need my glasses. All right. So we're gonna let you go. I'll be Facebook Living tomorrow. And I've got some fun announcements tomorrow for Sex Geek Summer Camp, because we've got some of our speakers confirmed. We're 22 days out or 23 days out. So if you're interested in coming to camp, it's readaboutsex.com/camp FAQ. I'll put a link to your website in the description when I get home.
Oh, I see somebody did it.
And oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you
Bill.
everyone. Thank you, comment folk.
Yeah.
And then
That's fun.
yeah.
Interactive people.
Yeah, and thank you for giving me an excuse to hang out with you today. And that was super fun playing with energy, and then letting me in your hot tub, and then I'm gonna drive home soon. And so say goodbye to Lisa with some emoticons, and we'll make it rain hearts and smiles and thumbs, or the rain thumbs. That sounds kind of weird. And then here comes ready, set, emoticons. Go, 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 go.
Sweetness.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Look at them all. Look at them all.
Thanks
Mwah.
for letting me join you today.
You're welcome. Thanks for being our guest star.